I'm Greg Pinneo. This is my beautiful bride, Shauna, and we own Reach Returns. We'd like to talk to you just for a few minutes about an entrepreneurial marriage. What I mean by that is I don't have a job that I get a W-2 at, nor does Shauna. You haven't got a W-2 and haven't told me.
Not lately,
no,
no.
okay. We don't have a job. We are self-employed or self-unemployed, however you'd like to call it, and yet we have several focused areas of our lives that have to keep going and that we're very responsible for. What are those areas?
I think they break down into about 5. I mean, we could add to that, but the basics would break down into 5 different categories. One, and I think first and foremost, is our family. 3 little kids that we're raising and focusing on, and that would be kind of number 1 on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Another is Trilogy Farm, an equestrian center that we own and run. A third would be, property management, property portfolio management, I guess is a better way to put it. Mm-hmm. New acquisition efforts is certainly one. And then, last but certainly not least would be Reach Returns.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think like Shauna said, there are many areas that we are involved in, but they fall basically into those 5 buckets. And in those 5 buckets, it's up to us to be responsible and figure those things out well. And here's a few tips that might help you, if you are an entrepreneurial family like we are, to help you along the way. The first thought that we have is this idea of making sure that in each of those areas there's a clear distinction between who is the leader and who is the encourager. Okay? Let's talk about those 5 areas. I think it's fairly obvious, but what are your leader buckets?
I think for sure the first 2. The first 2 definitely fall into my realm. I would be, to put it in, terms, I'm the pilot on those, Greg's kind of the wingman, and we do trade off on that. But the first 2 being our 3 children. I'm definitely the point person there, kind of the one that's kind of running that show, and Trilogy Farm for sure. Those are my buckets to be sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And mine would also be 2, the portfolio management and the new acquisition efforts. Those are primarily my responsibility, where I'm the pilot, Shauna's the co-pilot. The 5th bucket of Reach Returns, we have decided there are 2 pilots. We share that responsibility completely. But I think step 1 is understand who's leading and who's encouraging. The second thing is this idea of very efficient communication. There's 2 thoughts that we have we like to share with you on that. Go ahead and give them one, and I'll give them one.
One is just having emails that, and this grew out of just time management and efficiency, is that we each get all of the same emails. We have 2 different email accounts, but both of them come to both of us. So there's no, okay, I need to mention this to Greg, or I should forward this to him, or God, I got to remember to tell him about that. We are both seeing all of the same incoming communication, and it just simplifies.
And then where it goes from there, for example, if an incoming email comes in about Trilogy Farm, I know that I don't have to be proactive on the outgoing side. Shauna will take the lead. Shauna's going to make the call, make the decision. If she feels she needs to talk to me about it for whatever reason, she will, and then she will take the lead. But my role is an encourager in that situation. But I want to be a knowledgeable encourager. I don't want to be in the dark about anything. I don't want her in the dark about anything. So the efficiency around email. The second thing sounds too simple, but I got to tell you, it'll change everything if you employ this. Everybody has cell phones. On every cell phone is caller ID. I have my cell phone with me at all times. She has hers with her at all times. Certain meetings, it's on vibrate so that it doesn't disturb a meeting. But the agreement we have is that no matter what, no matter where, when she calls me, I answer. When I call her, she answers. That is the respect we give each other as being partners in life, partners in marriage, and partners in many businesses. We have to have that understanding because immediate connecting communication is also critical. Okay? The last thing I want to talk about is the non-passive role of the co-pilot. That co-pilot, it's not like they're off the hook. The co-pilot has a huge role. And for example, in the world of new acquisition efforts, I would be the lead. But talk a bit about your role as the co-pilot in that situation.
I think it depends. It depends upon what's going on any given day and time, what I'm sensing from Greg, kind of his energy and enthusiasm level, or if it's just been a lousy day, a lousy week. It just depends, but at the same time, you're always kind of, to stay with the metaphor, you're always sort of checking your instruments. You're always sort of looking at the other person's dashboard to see if there's a red light flashing. Do I need to step in here? Do I need to just love and encourage? Do I need to take him out for a glass of wine? You know, what is
yes,
the best?
I'll accept.
Or do I just need to jump in and say, okay, you have got a full plate. What can I do to help?
Mm-hmm.
Let me know. Let me take something off the to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
I got it handled. And so I think it just depends. And there's certainly
mm-hmm.
dates and times where, we're frazzled at different levels, and it's sort of the cliche that relationships aren't sort of 50-50, they're 100-100, right? That you're each giving 100% to that effort, regardless of what your role in that moment is. That I'm going to give 100% to being supportive of Greg while he's giving his 100% to something else. So
I think that the key to this role is awareness. This is where the communication comes in. This is where being very closely in touch throughout the day, many times a day, comes in, is that you can sense where that person is, how they're doing, and if they need a hand, if you've got to come in and help lift some weight, help get them through a tough time. Certainly with 3 children, you can imagine there's days at 2 o'clock in the afternoon I call and I can just tell she's overwhelmed in that moment. Sick kids, this, that. Well, guess what? You better change your day.
I think part of that is the function of having, an entrepreneurial life, marriage, whatever we want to phrase that, is that by its nature, by its definition almost, it's unpredictable. Yep. It's spontaneous. You don't know what the day is going to look like. You don't know where your hours need to be spent necessarily. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, it does require this constant open line of communication and this constant awareness, like Greg was saying.
Absolutely. That's the framework that we exist in. 1, a division of responsibility and clarity. 2, focused and efficient communication. And number 3, that co-pilot role is not passive. It's very active, very engaging. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us today on this topic of spousal entrepreneurship. We can't wait to talk with you again soon.
Looking forward to it.